Right, as we continue to unpack the big story of the day, EFF leader Julius Malema says Floyd Shivambu's departure caught the EFF by surprise. To expand on this, we're joined by Clem Sunter, who's a political and economic scenario planner. He's also authored books like Thinking the Future and Never Mind the Millennium. He joins us now via video link. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. Could one have preempted Floyd Shivambu's departure? I mean, what were the telling signs? Were they even there at all?
I don't think they were there at all. I think that it has come as a total surprise to me, as it must do to most people who, look at the future. I thought that he was well positioned as the deputy leader of the EFF. So, yeah, it's come as a complete surprise.
And if we have to look at how the press briefing played out this afternoon, we know that EFF leader Julius Malema's demeanor was quite somber today. He admitted that this is a testing moment for his organization that has lived beyond a decade. What kind of scenarios do you think will now begin to unfold to prove that perhaps the party will be going through some trying times?
Well, I wrote this article just over a month ago, just after the GNU was formed, basically saying that the most important thing to do now is to work together. And in that sense, I think that so far so good. We do have people working together in the government of national unity, because the challenge has switched from the political organization of the country, which was dealt with very pragmatically by Nelson Mandela and F.W. de Klerk and Rolf Mayer and Cyril Ramaphosa in the early 90s. We've now shifted to the economic future of the country, and it is absolutely vital that we work together to create a vibrant, inclusive economy now, to go with our democracy.
It's interesting you touch on the economy, because in 2016, you and Malema gave a debate at a Cape Town hotel, and you expressed radically differing arguments of how economic freedom could be achieved. It's 8 years later. I'll ask you this question because just this week, Stats SA revealed that the unemployment rate had increased again, jumping to 33.5% in the second quarter of the year. I mean, what are your thoughts as we take a look at the scenario today in 2024?
Well, in that debate in 2016 with Julius, I said I believe passionately in economic freedom as much as he does. It's just that I have a different definition of the phrase. I believe that economic freedom is all about setting free all the incredible entrepreneurs that we have in this country, in the townships and in the mainstream economy. It's not about nationalizing the banks or the land or the mines. It's about getting ordinary people to work together to create the future. One of the points I always make is that America is the #1 nation on earth, not because of the politicians, but because of the incredible entrepreneurs they've produced over the last 100 years, like Henry Ford, like Walt Disney, like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs and Apple. Those are the people that create an economy, and we have that incredible talent in this country, which could go global too. So you want to create economic freedom, you've got to bring the township economies into the mainstream economy. You've got to have finance for everybody who wants to start a business, which means having e-stock exchanges in all the major cities. Big business has to commit at least 20% of its supply chain to developing small businesses in this country. I want Cyril Ramaphosa to get a circle of real entrepreneurs together to advise them, just like he got doctors in the COVID pandemic. I want him to seek the advice of these entrepreneurs of what the best things to do in order to create real economic freedom for entrepreneurs in this country.
Yeah, in fact, he did do that just yesterday or the day before. Just this week, that discussion was held with business leaders in South Africa, and they spoke quite a great deal about the shifts that need to be made when it comes to energy. It's all very well to talk about load shedding, but what is the strategy going forward? They spoke a bit about logistics as well, and so forth. What do you think this now means, Shivambu's departure? What does it mean for policy within the EFF? Do you think that we could see a shift, and perhaps also the movements within the MK party flowing into the National Assembly and the work of Parliament?
Well, you know, they are part of the opposition. So yes, he switched parties, but you know, neither of them are part of GNU at the moment. And yes, I'm sure that they will perform that function perfectly reasonably in Parliament. But, you know, what I would really love is for the EFF, as well as MK, to understand that, you know, creating a fundamental inclusive economy is the number one priority as we speak. And that means a bottom-up revolution. Not a top-down kind of dictatorship. It's a bottom-up revolution of how we set people free to create businesses for themselves and to trade with one another. And that is what I want to become the principal issue. And I'd love the EFF and MK to raise this with GNU, because it is the challenge now for us to become a winning nation.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening. Let's perhaps leave it there for now. Joined there by Clem Sunter, who's a political and economic scenario planner, authoring several books. Also weighing in on the leading story of the day, the EFF Deputy President Floyd Shivambu's resignation. And of course, we do, on the other side of this, continue to bring you more news as we unpack and dissect this big story.